Another big 100 from an opening batsman put Yorkshire in the driving seat going into the final day of their latest championship match against Somerset at Taunton. Welcome to day 3's highlights. Resuming on 326 for 9, 112 runs behind, Somerset were bowled out immediately as Char Willoughby had a swish at Matthew Hoggard, giving the former England man figures of 5 for 82. Somerset needed to fight back and struck with the second ball, with Marcus Trescothick taking a fine catch at slip to remove first innings centurion Jacques Rudolph without scoring. So instead it was time for his opening partner, who failed first time up, to shine. Each day has been dominated by an opener, and day 3 was no different as Joe Sayers started brightly. With Anthony McGrath also finding the boundary at regular intervals, Yorkshire were able to press home their advantage. The ball was very much in their court and they could now govern the pace of the game, a pace which has been quick throughout, meaning that, in spite of all the runs, a positive outcome is still very possible. McGrath and Sayers had taken the total to 58 and the lead to 170 when the captain played a Willoughby ball onto his stumps when on 25. Somerset then had 2 chances to get themselves right back into the game. First, a very sharp chance in the slips was shelled to give Sayers a life, and then Adam Lyth had a let-off as he was juggled at slip off Arul Sapaya before the ball fell agonisingly to the floor. They were to prove to be very costly errors, as it was this partnership which really put the visitors in control, as they eventually added 123 runs for the 3rd wicket to take the lead to just short of 300. Sayers is a modern-day boycott, but with Lyth playing neatly, the score was on the rise. Sayers went through to a 50. He's shown already this summer that once he gets in, he's very difficult to dislodge. Lyth knew that the more he could push on, the more time his bowlers would have to win the match in the 4th innings, and so he pressed on, playing some tremendous shots. If anything, the wicket is getting easier to bat on, but Yorkshire do include a more potent spin attack, which may come into its own on the final day. The bigger the lead, the more Yorkshire could attack, with close infielders too. Lyth's excellent knock took him to his half-century as the Somerset fielders were contemplating another long afternoon in the heat. The two batted on with few alarms, having each reached their landmark. The race now appeared to be on to the 100, with both very well set. Then, having scored 71, Lyth edged a David Stiff pull to give the home crowd something to cheer about. So now it was all about Sayers and whether he could keep up his powers of concentration. He's already had an innings of 10 hours this season, so there was little doubt that he had the mental strength to keep going, and he went through to his 100 with a lovely cover drive to bring him his 15th 4 in an innings which had lasted 208 balls. Andrew Gale didn't learn from his partner and gave his wicket away with a loose drive at Alphonso Thomas on 16, Trescothick taking another catch to leave Yorkshire at 221 for 4. The last down a quarter again belonged to the Yorkshiremen, who increased the rate of the scoring as they tried to get into a position to declare overnight. John Bairstow was quickly into his stride, playing some terrific shots as the Somerset bowlers tired at the end of another long and hot day. Bairstow made his debut when these two sides met in Leeds just a couple of weeks ago, scoring runs in that match, and he looks a very handy player considering he's so fresh into the game and just 19 years of age. His positive attitude seemed to have an effect on Sayers, as he also increased the tempo of his innings late on in the day. Bairstow raced to a half-century as the lead went past 400, while Sayers went to his 150 with a neat flick through mid-wicket. But then, at the start of the last over of the day, a beauty from Xander de Bruyne in just his 5th over of the day bowled Sayers surprisingly for 152, made off 283 balls. So Yorkshire closed on 329 for 5, a mammoth lead of 441, surely enough to declare. But who's going to play that huge innings on the last day?